Guys, it's 7 with Shawn, and this week we had our special speaker, Taas Saada, and Taas, as we call him, was just a great guy and a great story, and his daughter Farah got up and gave a little testimony as well. And the Bible study, though, as far as what was written, we write the Bible study before the speaker comes, so sometimes we don't know what they're talking about. And I knew it was his testimony, but I didn't know where he was going to go in the Bible. So I actually, because of the ministry they have called Hope for Ishmael and their work with the Arab people and the Palestinian people, we actually, and because I read his book, and this was a big portion of his book, I set up a Bible study for you on Ishmael, on who Ishmael is in the Old Testament. See, in the Old Testament, God came to Abraham and promised Abraham that he would be a mighty nation. And he said that he would have a son, even though Abraham was an old man. So Abraham believed God. And the Bible says because he believed God, God credited that to him as righteousness. And then he went about his life and still never had a son. Well, his wife, Sarah, proposed to him, why don't you go and sleep with my maidservant Hagar and have a son through her, and we'll raise him, and he can kind of be the heir to your family line and to all the stuff that God has blessed you with, which was a common practice in the Middle East, in the ancient world. So it wasn't anything bizarre. So he did, and he slept with Hagar, and he impregnated her and had the child Ishmael. And God prophesied about Ishmael and who he would be in Genesis chapter 16, and of course I don't have it marked, so I apologize, but I want to read it to you. And in your groups, I want you to read the story of Ishmael, so that you know. And God said this: the angel of the Lord came to Ishmael and said, "You are now pregnant. You will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. He will live in hostility toward all his brothers." And she ends up replying to God, and she says, "You are the God who sees me," she said, "for I have now seen the one who sees me." And that is why the well is called Ber Lehe Roi. It is there between Kadesh and Bered. So really what's going on is that God comes to Hagar and says, you're going to name this guy Ishmael, and he's going to have a wild life. He's going to have a crazy life. But he also said he's going to bless him and make him a mighty nation. So here's what happens. They end up having Ishmael. Ishmael grows. And then by a crazy miracle, Abraham's real wife, Sarah, ends up becoming pregnant and having Isaac. And this was the child that God had promised, the chosen child. And through a weird circumstance of events, and you can probably understand the crazy family dynamic that's going on. Here's Ishmael now. He's a teenager. And Sarah and Hagar and Abraham have all been raising him. And he's a teenager now, but now they have this special child born of a miracle. I mean, Sarah was upwards of 80 years old when she has Isaac and this teenage Ishmael, and Sarah becomes very jealous of Ishmael. And I'm quite sure that Abraham had a bond with Ishmael too. And Sarah freaks out and demands that Abraham send Ishmael away. So Abraham sends Ishmael and Hagar away. And God did not do that. I want you to understand that. That's born out of human sin. Sarah was jealous. That was her sin. And they send him away, and they send them out into the wilderness with just a little bit of food and a little bit of water. And he's there, and they're about to die in the wilderness, and God rescues him. And God tells Hagar, I am going to bless Ishmael. He's going to be a mighty nation. So here's what I want you to understand. God did not choose Ishmael, but he did bless him. He had chosen Isaac. Isaac was the one who was going to be, through Abraham, and they were going to be the Jewish line. So here's what I want you to understand. All Arab people find their heritage through Ishmael, the half brother of Isaac, and all the Jewish people find their heritage and who they are through Isaac. So these two groups are brothers, and it said that Ishmael was going to be angry. Think about it. If your if your father deserted you and sent you into the desert to die, you'd probably be pretty pissed off too, and you'd probably live a pretty angry life. And this was Ishmael, and for 4,500 years, these two brothers have been at odds against each other. And it doesn't matter if it's Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or Jimmy Carter or George Herbert Walker Bush or George W. But it doesn't matter who you bring to try and negotiate peace between these two. It's not happening. The only person that's going to bring peace is the true Son, the Son of God, Jesus. And that's what this Bible study is, really a study on who Ishmael is. And I want you to, go into it, talk about it. And then at the end, one of the things I would love for you guys to do as a group is pray for Taas and Farah and their ministry, Hope for Ishmael and Seeds of Hope in Jericho. It's an incredible ministry, and it's a dangerous ministry as well too. They're always being watched. One of the reasons we had to cut off Farah's message on the live stream is she asked to, because she knows that there are people in the Middle East that are watching her. There are people in the Palestinian Authority that are watching her. And, she has to watch what she says, because when they go back there, they don't want to hurt the ministry. So pray for them and enjoy the study. It's a great Old Testament study, and go be the church. See ya.